I
Yeah.
moved from Burger
Yeah.
King to McDonald's at
Mm-hmm.
2.15 an hour because I thought I
Right.
was upgraded. My friends
Right.
were laughing. I'm not working at
Right.
no McDonald's for $2. I said, I'll do it because I'm not selling drugs like you are. I'm not
Absolutely.
standing on the street corner. I'm not doing any of
Mm-hmm.
those. But look
Mm-hmm.
at me now.
Hi, and welcome to another episode of the Dr. Lydia Show. I'm Dr. Lydia. Today, for this episode and for this new year, I thought to myself, with all the great tips that I've provided to you last year in season one and in season two, what if I could bring on some interesting people who have gone through similar experiences and wanted to share it with you? So, I was on my way from Jamaica and I met this amazing gentleman. And he sat beside me and then we started conversating. And the things that he had to say actually blew my mind. And right after we got off the plane, I was saying to him, look, I have this podcast and I would like for you to be my first guest. And of course, I think probably he thought me, whatever, this young lady is probably joking, but I actually meant it. And so to bring on my very first guest, and I'm not going to tell you anything about him because he inspired me and everything that we stand for within this community. And this is why I wanted to bring on Mr. Derrick Carr to you guys. Dr. Lydia community, welcome Mr. Carr. Hi, Mr. Carr. How are you?
I am great, Dr. Lydia. How are you?
I am doing well. Thank you so much for joining me here today.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. All right. So, one of my first questions is I want you to tell me again and our viewers a little bit about yourself.
Well, you said it. We were coming from Jamaica. I'm Jamaican. I've been living in America now for a few years. Uh, 35 to be exact. Came here
A
as a
few,
kid,
right?
freshly out of the greatest school in the world, Kingston College. Yes, I have to make that plug. Came here as a kid, and my goal when I came here was to get an education, get knowledge, go back and change my world, my country, place that I love. Of course, that's not the reality of what happened. I
Mhm.
came, I learned, but I got into life here and I continue to live here. Still have the desire to change my world, my country, but it has not, I have not been successful on that journey, but the journey continues.
I got a quick question. While you said life has not been easy, what has life been like, or what's the culture shock for you coming from Jamaica to here?
Well, when I came here, I had to the culture shock was wow. I'm going to America. Back in the day, we said America. I'm going to America. And the concept was you're going to go to America. And as a kid, you're not thinking about it. I'm just
Okay.
going to go there and I'm going to get wealth. I'm
Hmm.
going to become rich. I remember when I was leaving uh, Jamaica, I promised every friend I have, you're going to get a bike. You're going to get a bike. Because as a kid, I don't know any better. And bike was our mode of transport. So I promised oh, I'm gonna say and we had a bike called a chopper bike.
Uh-huh.
So I'm gonna send you a chopper, I'm gonna give you a chopper. I overpromised and could not deliver because I came into the reality of wow, this is worse than where I'm coming from. And I moved to New Jersey from Jamaica and it
Hmm.
was winter.
Mm.
And it was winter, the worst winter storm, the worst winter they were ever going to experience. But I didn't know it yet. And it was
Right, right.
September. And, Jamaica, the cold day in Jamaica is probably on the rare occasion it hits 68, 70.
Yes.
And
Uh-huh.
that's if you're in the country. If you're in Kingston, it
You
never
don't.
gets to that.
Yes, absolutely.
So I came here and reality sets in. I remember the first morning I woke up and I looked outside and it was bleak and overcast. And I instantly, at 15 years old, became depressed. I did not understand depression until that day. People actually got depressed. I looked outside. So, first thing I did was I ran to the window
Hmm.
and looked down. and I didn't see. Oh, by the way, I came here and I was in the projects.
Hmm. Yes.
I didn't see any wealth, any gold outside. And I'm like, wait a minute, where am I going to get this wealth from to send all this stuff that I promised? As a matter of fact, where am I going to get the wealth from for me to have some of the stuff that I thought I was coming to America to get?
Absolutely. Yes. Yes.
Just shocked. Oh my God, was I
Yes.
shocked? I
Yes.
was like, I want to go home.
Yes.
And as the baby of the family,
Mhm.
I was the first one. So I had no
Yes.
one to say, hey, it's going to be all right. Here I
Hmm.
am, 15 years old. I'm the baby of the family, and no, no guidance, no anything, nothing. And I'm like, wow, I'm going to have to start this journey.
Wow.
Oh, what a journey it's been. It's been an awesome one. I would never do it any other way.
Right.
Blessings came, hardship existed, but
Right.
from the hardship came a lot of
Came.
blessing.
Absolutely.
And look at me now. And I've spent the last 40 years. Oh, yeah, I
Hmm.
just had a birthday the other day.
Oh, happy birthday.
Yeah, last Saturday. And I did my favorite thing. I went on a cruise.
Oh, no. Mine too. Yes. Go ahead.
That's what I do. I'm Mr. Cruise. So, I've spent the last 40 years educating people, sharing them about my story,
Hmm.
the pain, because you can't share the blessings without the pain, because they have to
Absolutely.
understand it's a process.
Absolutely.
I think it's been an awesome journey.
Absolutely.
Thank you for giving me this opportunity to share again.
Absolutely. Now, you said that after you were in New Jersey, you went to school. Where did you work? Or did you go get a job? What kind of job did you get?
Well, coming from Jamaica, I was 15 and I graduated Kingston College and was
Hmm.
ready to conquer the world. I was all set to become an attorney, but I
Hmm.
migrated. And at 15, nobody in America takes you serious.
Right.
You're a kid. In
Hmm.
Jamaica, you're a grown up. In America, you're a kid. You don't
Right.
have the ability to say anything to an adult unless you probably want to get slapped.
True.
I I went back to high school. I was living in Perth Amboy, New Jersey. I went back to high school for a couple of years to acclimatize myself to learn how to speak like they do.
Right.
As you can see, I still have my accent. I'll never lose it. But it was
Absolutely.
heavy. It was heavy back then. So,
Right.
and then, listen, I had to figure my way out. It was me and my dad, and my dad, smartest man I ever knew, but didn't have the education background to guide me the way I needed to be. So I went back to school for 2 years, Perth Amboy High School. Then I went to Rutgers University and started my journey. I became a computer engineer. Wanted to do law, but fell in love with computers, became a computer engineer, and began the journey.
Hmm. And what job did you get you doing computer engineer?
Well, back then, being a computer engineer, I got into computer programming because that's
Right.
what it was called back then. It's not like
Right.
today I became a programmer and slowly taught myself as many languages as I could because you didn't learn anything in college. It was just to get a
Right.
degree. So you had to educate yourself. So
Absolutely. Yes.
I, uh, you know, life is about self-learning, Doc.
Hmm.
You know that.
Yes.
We know that.
Absolutely.
You
Yes.
can't depend on the schools. You have to take the school learning and build on it. And it's all about you and how far you want to go, what you want to learn. So I
Absolutely.
self-educated. I learned
Hmm.
as many languages. Back then, the big languages were COBOL and RPG, and C came around. I became a
Hmm.
computer programmer. And then I
Right.
slowly transitioned to a systems analyst and transitioned into being a network engineer before network engineering existed.
Wow.
That was all to build on who I wanted to be. That was all the learning. But I started learning about money because even though things look beautiful, I was suffering. I remember
Yes.
homelessness. We
Go
can't
ahead.
leave this out. I remember homelessness because
Hmm.
right after I came to New Jersey and I went back to high school, the lady I was living in said, hey, listen, you're 15, my youngest child is 21, and moved out of the house. I don't need another kid in my house. And I'm saying to her, I'm
Oh.
not a kid, I'm a grown up. I can fend for myself. She's like, not in America, you can. So me and my dad moved out of her house. and we rented an apartment. I
Mhm.
remember specifically, every time I go to New Jersey, I pass the house and I'll stop and look because it began there. And
Mhm.
we rented this house. It was a little one bedroom, two-story house. We rented the basement.
Mhm.
That basement was not insulated. And I'm
Wow.
telling you, it's September. By October, you can't go in the basement because it's like 10 degrees.
Oh
And
my
I came
goodness.
to America with two shirts, one pants, and pardon me, two holy briefs.
Oh my gosh.
I'm not ashamed of it. That's
But
where the
that's the
journey began
reality of it. Absolutely. That's
because
so
I
much
gave
stuff to make
everything
you who
away.
you are.
Listen,
Yes.
I didn't have much, but I
Mm-hmm.
gave
Mhm.
everything
Everything
away
away.
to
Right.
people who needed it because I figured I'm going to America.
Yes,
Yes,
Ooh, then the
absolutely.
suffering began because
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
now we rented this basement from this lady, and the basement wasn't insulated. And I am telling you,
Mm-hmm.
it was
Mhm.
cold. So you know what I ended up doing?
What?
The
What?
lady wouldn't turn the heat on, so she had her bedroom door locked, and she would turn a space heater on in her room.
Right.
So I would
Right.
sleep on the floor by her door,
Oh my
so I could
god.
get a little of the heat coming out from under the door.
Oh my
Oh my
goodness.
goodness.
And
Wow.
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 she would
Wow.
not let me shower in the bathroom because it was her one bathroom. Hey,
Right.
I have no shame in my game. I used to go to McDonald's. I ended up
Right.
working there, and I would wipe up.
Right. Absolutely. And that's the reality of us coming from Jamaica, coming here and starting. Absolutely.
I did whatever that was
Necessary.
legally able and necessary to get to the
Absolutely.
next step. I
Absolutely.
remember, Doc, my first job, not ashamed of it, $2.05 an hour at Burger King
Wow.
in the
Yeah.
Woodbridge Mall.
Wow.
Mm.
And I would leave high school, take the last bus to the mall, which is
Mm.
about 12 miles away,
Right.
Right.
and I would start working at 6. We would
Right.
get off about 10:30 when the mall closes. But people don't realize back then there was no beepers, no cell phones, no
Yeah.
nothing. Very
Right.
very few people had landlines in their homes. And
Absolutely.
I know no one, so I can't call anyone.
Right.
Right.
So what I do, I walk the 12 miles home in knee deep snow to get home.
Wow.
Wow.
So, anyway, we moved out of this lady's house and we rented this apartment above a liquor store on State
Mhm.
Street.
Right.
Right.
And we couldn't pay the rent because my father lost his job.
Right.
Right.
Because right after we moved, he, my father was here illegally in the beginning. He got his
Right.
Right.
papers and he came to get me. So
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
here, me and him trying to figure out America because he's been
Right.
Right.
here and he hasn't figured out America yet. So he's trying to figure out America. So we rent this apartment. We paid the first month and the security deposit, and we ain't got no money. I'm
Right.
Right.
making $2.05 an hour. Can't pay
Wow.
nothing. Cause 40 hours you
Right.
make 8. And I'm not working 40 hours, mind you. I'm
Right.
working part time.
Right.
Right.
So we're hiding from the rent man, right? So
Yeah.
Wow.
so we pay the deposit and the first month's rent. Now we have no heat because we
Mhm.
cannot afford the oil. We have no
Mm.
electricity. There's no light.
Mhm.
We have no
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
gas because in New Jersey
Right.
you need every utility is separate. So you need
Right.
Right.
gas to cook, you need oil for heat, and you need
Mhm.
electricity for the light. So I'm
Right.
Right.
staying in this ice box, right?
Wow.
I'm
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
walking home, defrosting, laying on the bed in blanket,
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
defrosting, getting up and repeat the process.
Wow.
Can't, you can't shower because it's the pipes are practically frozen. So you you
Mhm.
you wet the rag and you wipe and you're going about your business. No shame in my
Absolutely.
game. I have to tell people the beginning because they have to understand the journey.
Journey.
But you
Journey.
know what?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
The journey was keep focused. I have a little
Mhm.
acronym that I tell people when I'm teaching them finance. It's
Mhm.
DOCR. Discipline, obedience, consistency, results.
Boom. And so, with that said, my next question is why did you decide to start your own business?
Well, I moved forward. I eventually got my degree and became a computer engineer. And I moved from New Jersey to Florida, and I still live in Florida. And things was progressing. I'm making headway, and I started having kids.
Mhm.
And, I decided when me and my wife sat down, we talked and we said, listen, one of us needs to be home with the kids because nothing beat a parent giving to a child the best
Ab-
of them. And the best of that parent is the parent. It's not
Absolutely.
money, it's not
Yeah.
gifts, it's not stuff.
Mhm.
You know,
Mhm.
my kids are older now, but I cannot remember buying anything other than what they needed of
Mhm.
any significance. For example, I never bought my son $100 sneaker because I don't
Mhm.
believe in it. He
Right.
bought a lot for himself when he was
Right.
able to, but not
Right.
with my money. He's not because I don't believe that. I think they should have whatever they need first. Then,
Right.
if there's an ability to satisfy the want, then we
Right.
will do that. But we
Absolutely.
keep in mind, I'm in a growing mode. And what I
Mhm.
tell people is, you give me 5 years of dedication, and I
Mhm.
guarantee your life will be different. So I
Absolutely.
spent 10 years in New Jersey, and I went through some stuff. But by the time I moved to Florida, my life was being blessed, and I was moving forward so much. I
Mhm.
decided one of us needed to be home. So I resigned from my very lucrative paying computer job
Right.
and decided to stay home. And
Okay.
I tried different things. I traded in the market because I'm all about knowledge. I'm constantly
Right.
teaching myself. You know, I'm that person that has taken every seminar in any subject that I'm interested in. I've gone to
Mhm.
every real estate course. I even had a real estate license. Never
Wow.
sold or listed a house. I had an
Right.
insurance license. Never sold an
Ooh.
insurance policy, but I needed the
Right.
knowledge for myself.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
I've been to every financial planning class that I could find.
Okay.
But but I use that knowledge now to benefit me and you and everybody
Abs-
else around.
Okay, so what are any tips from those financial knowledge classes that you could share with us regarding spending, money habits, or anything like that that helped you through your business? Go ahead.
Favorite subject. Well, I learned a long time ago that money don't make you happy. I don't care how
uh-huh.
much you have. Some of the most
Absolutely.
unhappy people out there have make the most money.
Mhm.
You know, they're
Mhm.
unhappy because they
Right.
never learned the value of the money. It can buy them
Yeah.
things, but it can bring problems. What
Yes.
I have
It's true.
learned is that you should saving money is great, but it's not the goal.
Right.
Spending money is the goal, but not how most people spend it. Spending
Yes.
your money wisely
Wisely.
is the
Yes.
goal.
Right. Absolutely.
So I have learned that saving it in the bank is not going to help. Spend it,
Mhm.
but spend it wisely. Money is a tool. Spend it to bring back money, which will
Mhm.
bring you satisfaction because there's no better happiness. I don't care what anybody say, than going to bed knowing that nobody's going to come knock on your door. There's no collector
Yes.
or somebody looking to kill you because you're in a deal that there's no greater joy that I get that I sleep and sleep soundly.
Sleeps on
No
sleep
stress.
soundly. Yep.
Yes.
Absolutely.
I remember you telling me at what age you retired. Tell me about that again. Tell them about that. What age did you actually retire? Like, I am financially free. I could spend time with my family and do whatever I want.
From 15 to 31 was
Mhm.
growing, building, putting the things in place, learning, educating myself. And I retired at 31 from
Wow.
corporate
Right.
because, and not because I was rich and all of that, because I had enough that I could survive on without
Mhm.
changing my lifestyle and
Right.
be there for my kids. And that's
Absolutely.
what
Yeah.
retirement meant to me. I
Yes.
retired at
Mhm.
31. That
Mhm.
was 26 years ago.
Wow.
And I'm still living in, I built my dream home that I've lived in now for 30 years. And I'm still in
Wow.
it. I'm not
Wow.
one of those people that move.
Absolutely.
It's a nice house. My kids were born here. They grew up
Mhm.
here. Their
Mhm.
cousins and friends and all of them grew up in this house because there was
Mhm.
no summer that I did not have 8 or 9 kids having the best summer of their life
The lies
in
here.
this house.
Right.
But you know, the
Mhm.
greatest thing, I was able to be home with them, take them on
Mm.
road trips.
Yes.
And I look back and I'm like, man, every Tuesday I would spend $1,000 taking these kids to the amusement park. And I'm
Wow.
like, where did that come from? You know what? I wasn't counting the money. I was
There it
counting
is.
the blessings
Blessing.
and the growth on the
Yes.
kids.
Yes.
And they talk about it, and now their friends are saying, "Man, I wish I grew up in your house."
Right.
And it
Absolutely.
was the greatest thing. And I look back and I'm like, man, what? How
Mm.
blessed was
Now, I have another quick question since you brought family and friends. How did your family and friends react when you told them, listen, I'm quitting corporate, I want to retire, this is what I did? Other than your wife's support, how did outside react to you wanting to do that?
Well, to this day, most of them are not happy about it. I have gotten people that I talk with, my friends saying, "You mean you're a man and you devil, I'm gonna make your wife go work?"
Right.
And I'm like, listen, I have something more important than what my wife is doing. I have kids
Right.
to give me to.
There it is. Absolutely. Yes.
And my wife was supportive because we had talked about the
Right.
fact that one of us need to be there.
Hmm.
And I elected to be that one because
Right.
I could be more flexible.
Hmm.
And trust me, Doc, I'm telling you to this day, if I had to do
Right.
it over again, I probably would have done it earlier, but I didn't have kids till 31. It's been the most fantastic thing in the world. And don't
Wow.
look at me and what I've done. Look at my kids
Hmm.
and what they're doing. My
Tell me a
kids
little
are
bit more about
educated.
your kids. Absolutely. Go ahead. Tell them about your
Okay.
kids.
I have a boy and a girl.
Hmm.
My son just turned 27. My daughter is 25.
Okay.
And they, I bless so many people, and I say it's my blessings that flowed over on them. But you know what?
Right. Absolutely.
They're brilliant,
Hmm.
just naturally smart. But beyond
Right.
that, they're both
Right.
engineers.
Hmm.
But I look at the things they're doing. I look at the fact that they're mentoring other people, younger and older. My
Right.
son went to University of Florida, a
Hmm.
mechanical engineer, you
Hmm.
know. But it's the things that he's done. It's not his engineering degree that's
Right.
impressive.
Absolutely.
Graduated from UF with a 4.0 engineering degree,
Hmm.
you know, and every company was looking at, seeking him out. But it's what
Hmm.
he did for his friends,
Right.
how he educated them with the knowledge
Right.
that I was able to pass on to
Pour
him.
into
He has
him.
all his
Yeah.
friends being investors, being
Hmm.
financially astute. A lot of
Hmm.
his friends now look to me. They will not do anything. They won't even buy a car unless
Right.
they call and they say, "Pop, what do you think? You think I should do
Right.
this?" And that's the legacy and the blessing that I brag about more than anything else.
Anything. Absolutely.
Because now I have all his friends. They look at me as a father figure. They have their own father. But I was
Hmm.
able to provide such an influence through him
Right.
that, they come to me. They won't buy a house. But you know
Right.
what? I'm proud of with all of them. My kids
Hmm.
include my son, 27 years, already has 7
Hmm.
investment properties.
Oh,
My
nice.
daughter, 25, she bought her house at 20 years old on her
Wow.
first little small job. But everybody thought you can't buy no house making 40,000.
Hmm.
I said, tell them who your dad is. I said, just tell them your father said you can. And she did.
Absolutely.
And she did. Not only did she buy the house, she
Right.
moved out of that house and rented it and bought another one. And
Ooh.
me and her
Yes,
joke. I
sir.
was late coming on your show because we were at the bank talking about how we're gonna move from 2 to 3. You understand what
Absolutely.
I'm saying?
Wow. Congratulations. Yes. Yes. We love to see
But
it.
all of their friends that they mentor and that I'm mentoring, guess what? They're becoming homeowners at 25 and 26.
Hmm.
And I am happy about that. That's the thing I brag about the most.
Right.
I'm not special, but
Right.
the message is special. And if
Right.
you follow the message,
Hmm.
easily duplicated,
Absolutely.
easily duplicated. And that's what I tell people.
Oh
Nothing
my
I did
goodness.
was special. I'm just
Right.
focused, and it showed because I
Right.
didn't just do it. My kids are doing it. Their friends are
Right.
doing it. And I could point to a lot of people who have
People that.
listened and followed the message
Hmm.
that
Doing it right, absolutely. Now, segue into that, I want you now to give 3 things that you've learned that you think that would benefit everybody that watches this show, or things that you've shared with your kids' friends or anybody and you've seen them implemented and you're like, wow, like these are really good tips that are very helpful. Very helpful.
You know that
Yes.
some there's so many, but I tell people delayed gratification, which comes from my DOCR, discipline,
Yes.
obedience, consistency,
Mm-hmm.
produce, result. Delayed
Mm-hmm.
gratification, because that's what all of that put together saying the time will come. The time will
Yes.
come. I
Yes.
remember, and I'm going to tell a story about that. I remember,
Mm-hmm.
as a young man, you want to be like everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
For a minute, I
Right.
wanted to be. So I wanted that BMW because everybody was driving the BMW.
Right. Mm-hmm.
But I did not forget what brought me to Florida and my dream home.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, every time I saved up the money to buy that BMW, I said,
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to buy a condo. And after enough condos, guess what? I
Yes.
remember buying my 540 BMW, brand new cash,
Right.
drove it for a minute, and said, nah, I'm going to upgrade. And I bought a 745
It
BMW
didn't feel the
cash.
same.
And I'm like, so I said to myself, what am I doing? I don't need this. It's not
Right.
making me a better person. It's
Mm-hmm.
just taking away two condo money from me.
Yes. Absolutely.
And I remember I had surgery, which was a very trying time for me. I had surgery, and
Mm-hmm.
that car was parked in my driveway for about 4 months. Couldn't drive it. Couldn't,
Right.
I had brain surgery. And,
Mm-hmm.
you know, after I drove the car one day when I said, I got to get out of the house after 4 months, brand new BMW. The whole cooling system fell out. Under
Oh
warranty,
my
it
gosh.
was about 17 grand. They charged me
Mm-hmm.
1700 because they said I put bad radiator. But I drove down the block and couldn't go home, and I wanted to get
Right.
back home. I'm not supposed to be outside. So
Right.
anyway, the long and the short is I sold that BMW for,
Mm-hmm.
for for I think I sold it for like 30 grand or something. And the guy's like,
Mm-hmm.
what's wrong with it? Why are you selling it so cheap? I said, because it's not me. It don't fit my
Right.
lifestyle.
Right.
It's not bringing me any goodwill, but it's costing me money. My
Mm-hmm.
neighbor across the street, I bought a brand new RAV4 cash. And he's like, you're moving from a BMW to a RAV4? The man was upset with me. Because how dare me park a RAV4 in my driveway that I'm paying for my house across the street from his driveway with his legs? I couldn't believe he was
Right.
literally upset. But
Wow.
that was the last time I did anything like that. I sold that BMW,
Mm-hmm.
bought a RAV4.
Right.
At the time, I remember that was the first time gas hit like $4 a gallon. This was probably 2012 when
Mm-hmm.
gas shot up.
Mm-hmm.
And I said $128 to fill up the BMW, $26 to fill up the
The right.
RAV4. I have $102 left. Let's see, if I save enough $102, I can buy a piece of property. And that's
Yes.
exactly what I did. And I
Wow. Wow.
never bought another car like that again. I drive
Mm-hmm.
nice cars, but those luxury cars, they're just to make other people feel bad. My opinion, of course, nobody take offense,
Right.
please.
Absolutely.
But they're to
Right.
make other people feel bad. I don't
Right.
I don't envy anyone. I could buy a
Right.
G Wagon tomorrow if I wanted. But
Right.
what's that gonna do for me? That's two
Absolutely.
condos.
Right.
I I went to the bank today and got 100 grand. I'm gonna use it to buy two condos.
Right.
That's a G Wagon. So which would I
Mm-hmm.
rather have? Two condos that's gonna make me $4,500 a month, or a G
Mm-hmm.
Wagon that's gonna cost me forty
Cost
five
me.
hundred dollars
There
a
it
month?
is. Absolutely.
Let's
And
see.
that's
Yeah. And that's the thinking with the mindset. I remember on the before I get to the last question for you, I wanted to ask because you said something while we were on the airplane that I think would be essential and beneficial for everybody. And I'll remind you of what you talked about and let you elaborate. You said that if any couple that's married, you suggest they got a certain amount of bank account. Yes. So can you share that tip with our viewers?
Oh, listen. Now I've heard it said elsewhere, but I remember 34 years ago, well,
right.
35 years ago when I came up with that idea,
Uh-huh.
it didn't exist. Keep in mind,
Okay.
35 years ago, there was no internet, no TikTok, no
Right.
YouTube, no nothing. There was
Right.
not even any internet. Let me just go
Right.
that far. Okay.
It's true. Yes.
And so what I decided, my wife is a highly compensated individual. So
Mhm.
at the time, she was going to make more money than me. And, as a young man, your ego jumps out and you're like, I'm not marrying no woman that's going to make more money than me. You know,
Right.
that's the stupidness that came out in me. And I'm sure it comes out in a lot of young
A
men.
lot of people,
And,
absolutely.
and it took me 4 years to marry her,
Hmm.
you know. But in that 4 years, I grew and we conversated, we talked, we grew together, friends. But one of the things I got out of it is, why am I competing with her? We need
Right.
to come together and grow.
As a partner. Yes.
So how do I achieve that without creating any imbalance? And I came up with
Hmm.
this idea of it was revolutionary. I've heard other people say similar things, but mine is this: lots of accounts, and we broke it down to the point where we had, and you should have at least nine
Okay.
accounts. And you're like,
Okay.
why so many?
Okay.
And I'll
Explain
share
it.
it real quick.
Hmm.
As a team, the team
Hmm.
takes precedence over the individuals. You
Right.
could have a superstar on the team, but he can't. For example, take soccer. You could have a Messi or whatever, but Messi
Hmm.
can't play the other 11 players by himself.
Yes.
He,
Uh-huh.
he needs that team, right?
Right. Yes.
So he's only as valuable as the team that's going to support him.
Yes.
Because if his defense line, he got the ball and he have nobody to pass it to, he can't dribble around the 12 people on the other side. So
Exactly. Yeah.
I came up with this concept, and I won't take 100% credit because my wife was right there. She was my
Right.
girlfriend and fiance at the time. But we
Right.
said, okay, how are we going to level the playing field?
Hmm.
There's going to be times when she's in medical school, I'm going to make more, but then she's going to come out and make more,
Hmm.
and everybody believes the person who make the money wields the power. Well, there's no power wielding in my house. No
Or when
power
you're in a
wielding in my
relationship,
house.
it's a partnership. Yes.
It's a partnership. And it's not no
Absolutely.
50-50. I don't believe in 50-50. It's
Yep.
100-100,
100.
right?
Hmm.
And when the other person is dragging, you pick up their piece and do 120
Hmm.
if you need to, because
Absolutely.
that's how
Yes.
the team comes before. So my concept of bank accounts is this. We have a bank account that is a joint checking, which is the
Hmm.
main account for everything.
Okay.
Every money I make, I've been working 40 years. I don't know how much I make. I have never,
Hmm.
other than when I go in and negotiate,
Hmm.
everything gets transferred, direct deposited to that master account.
Right.
So too does my wife. Money get direct deposited to that master account. We have a
Okay.
budget. And today,
Okay.
even though I have a lot of excess, the budget
Right.
still remains. We have a budget that's associated with that master account. That
Right.
budget dictates everything gets paid. And
Hmm.
then from the excess, we
Hmm.
have a savings account.
Wow.
And
Okay.
from we have a well, at the time I was using the money market because it was just easier. But it doesn't
Right.
matter. You have a save, you have a checking, you have a savings, then you have joint credit
Hmm.
cards. So the
Right.
checking is joint, the savings is joint, and then we have joint credit cards that is
Right.
only used to spend for the house.
Right.
But from that master account, I get a stipend or what you want to call it. I get an
Hmm.
allowance. She
Right.
gets an equal allowance.
Right.
From that allowance now, that goes into my personal checking that she don't
Hmm.
have access to, and
Hmm.
her allowance going to her personal checking that I don't have access to. And I don't want to have access to it. It's her
Right.
stuff.
Right.
She have a savings.
Hmm.
I have a savings.
Hmm.
I have my own credit cards. She have
Right.
her own credit card. Right?
Hmm.
So there
Hmm.
you have nine accounts.
Mm.
Individual credit card, individual savings, individual checking,
Checking.
joint. So nine accounts. Do you have to go
Right.
that far? You might not want a savings, but at
Right.
least you should have at least three at the top because you need a savings for the house, you need a checking for the house, and you need credit
Hmm.
cards for the house. If
Right.
you don't want to have your own thing, I don't know how you're going to spend your own money, but I get an allowance. And I remember when I started this, I
Hmm.
was getting $50 a month.
Hmm.
We were poor and didn't have that much, but
Right.
$50 was a lot.
Right.
Now as we have grown and our businesses and all of that, I get a $750 a month allowance. I don't even
Hmm.
know what to do with it. I swear
Right.
to you, I do not know what to do with it. And what's the purpose of that allowance? That's for me to do my own personal stuff.
Right.
It could be I want to take my friends out to dinner. I'm not going
Hmm.
to infringe on the house account to do that.
Right.
That's my, you know. Now, if we're going out to dinner as a couple, with another couple or something like that. That's different. But if me and the
Hmm.
boys are hanging out or I'm at
Hmm.
work and I want to treat my
Hmm.
coworkers to lunch or whatever,
Right. Hmm.
I'm not supposed to infringe on the thing. I don't want my wife want to go pay a bill and I spend the money you know, and she's like, what happened to the money?
Right.
I have
Absolutely.
never in 30 years said to my wife, or she has never said to me, I need money to buy this because the money is there. It's in the
There.
budget. I have always
Absolutely.
said to her, hey, you want to change the curtains or the drapes? As long as
Hmm.
the money is there, do it.
No
I
problem.
appreciate
Absolutely.
you consulting with me because I
Right.
might not like the color or something, but
Right.
you never have to ask me where the money is coming from. And it works beautifully.
Oh
It gives
wow.
people their individuality. It gives them
Right.
some independence, but it
Hmm.
don't rob from the house. Because I know friends, one is a gambler or one is a drinker, and they be drinking out the house money, gambling out the
Yeah.
house money. The bills
Yes.
can't get paid. Car payments
Yes.
are late.
Yes.
That's not good. Very unhealthy.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. And that's why most relationships fail. That's also that's what creates that bond and that partnership why your marriage is or has been lasting for so long and is so strong. Wait, before you go, one last question. Your favorite books that would be instrumental to us and our growth and us within this community.
Us within this community.
Doc,
Yes.
every time I talk finance, I tell people the
Hmm.
first book you have to read is Richest Man in Babylon. Easy read,
Yes.
shouldn't take you more than an hour. People say, why?
Yes.
I said, because it teaches you the value and purpose of money. And if you
Yes.
don't understand the purpose and value of money,
Hmm.
you're working on a
No.
uphill battle.
Yes.
You know, I remember back in the days I used
Hmm.
to, drive my kids. We've driven all over the US. I remember
Hmm.
driving from Florida to Canada. We never
Mm.
played music. We
Right.
played audiobooks. So I've been
Yeah.
educating my kids when they were 2 years old. What's an asset? And I would quiz them. What's an asset? What's a
Yes.
liability? We
Yes.
play games that support that. Last week for
Hmm.
my birthday, you know what I did? Now people think this is crazy.
Right.
My birthday. And I
Okay.
have the ability to do whatever. You know what I
Whatever
did?
you want. Hmm.
I had my two kids and their boyfriend and girlfriend, fiance,
Hmm.
whatever they want to call themselves, plus one that I tell everybody is my son because he's my
Right.
son's best friend. But I tell
Right.
everybody wherever I go, oh,
Right.
that's my third child. Him and
Yes.
his girlfriend. So the sixth kid, me and the wife,
Right.
we got
Right.
together. I cooked up some chicken and rice. My son made
Hmm.
fried rice. We cooked up a storm. Wish I
Right.
had time to show you the pictures. And we sat in my house and we had a feast. We had a ball. But you know what we did?
Mhm.
Yes, the money games.
The money
Yes.
And
game.
people cannot
Yes.
understand. That's what you did for your birthday. I said I could not have
Yes.
celebrated my birthday any better.
Better.
The people that I
Absolutely.
love the most,
Hmm.
they're around me. But not only
Hmm.
are they around me, they want to
You
be
want to
around
be
me.
around me? Yes. Absolutely.
And we played games and we talked finance because that's what
Hmm.
we do. We
Yeah.
still today, as well as all three kids are doing and their
Yes.
partners, we still
Hmm.
talk finance. We'll get together and say, okay, today I went and I refinanced one of my property to get some money. I'm
Hmm.
going to buy two condos,
Hmm.
and I don't want to take money out of the bank because I don't believe in that. I believe
Right.
in debt. Get
Right.
as much debt as you can, but it has to be good debt.
Good debt. Yes.
Me and my daughter, we're talking.
Hmm.
Okay, so why you think this is the right way? Okay, and we're calculating. Okay, I'm
Hmm.
gonna pay. This 100 grand is gonna cost me $650. But I
Hmm.
said, okay, no problem. I'm gonna buy two condos with it. The two
Hmm.
condos are gonna make me 4,000. Now
Hmm.
I'm paying 650 to get the 100, and I'm gonna buy two condos, and
Hmm.
they're gonna make me 4,000. But there's about $1,000 of fee associated with buying the two
Hmm.
condos. So now I have
Hmm.
$1,000 and $1,000 and the 650. I said,
Hmm.
but I'm coming out $1,400 better
Hmm.
net
Yes.
after paying
Yes.
all three loans.
Hmm.
What a
Yes.
brilliant move. She like, Dad, you still
Yes.
got it. I
Yes.
said, oh, I never lost it. She said that. I said, no, I never lost it, honey. I just haven't been doing nothing. I'm letting you guys shine, but I'm not going to pass up an opportunity. Because she was wanting to know, why didn't you take the money out of the bank? I said, why?
Right. Right.
Why? I said, I'd borrow 100,000. And this is
Hmm.
real.
Yes.
Look, I just did, I just came from the title company. That's
Hmm.
why I was late. I said,
Wow.
this is real. I can borrow because,
Hmm.
people like, we won't call his name, believe in no debt. You know,
Right. Yes.
that
Yes.
DR guy, I
Yes.
believe in debt, but you got to have good
Hmm.
debt. So I borrowed
Mhm.
100 grand. It's gonna
Mhm.
cost me 650, right?
Yes.
It's okay. It's
Absolutely.
costing me 8%. It's gonna
Right.
cost me 650 over 30 years.
Mhm.
But I'm gonna take that 100 grand. I'm not saving a penny because the whole
Mhm.
50 is gonna buy each condo.
Mhm.
I won't even have penny to go to dinner.
You're right.
But right away, I'm making $1,400.
And that's cash flow. And that's the cash flow every single month where you're making passive income and you don't have to go to work for it.
Now you see why I
Building your
retired? Because
portfolio. Absolutely.
I have
Absolutely.
lots of real estate amongst other
Yes.
things, but I
Yes.
share this with people, and now my kids are doing it. Like I said, my son at
Yes.
27 has
Mhm.
7 condos.
You're
My
right.
daughter has two, but she has no
Mhm.
interest in
Right.
she just do it because she know it's way to make money.
Right.
But my other kids, they're all on one and looking to go to two. They're not really
Right.
my kids, but I mentor
Right.
them. I call them my kids. I tell everybody we cruise together, 14 of us on a cruise ship.
Wow.
And
Yes.
I'm like, what a blessed man I am. Me and my
Yes.
wife and all these young people that want
Yes.
to be around us. And I
Right.
tell everybody, this is my legacy, this is my kids.
Right.
I feel
Absolutely.
good about it. How much better
Absolutely.
can I?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Mr. Carr, all I hear from you is that you're living your purpose. You've poured into everybody. Now you're pouring into our community. I'd like to personally thank you for being here and thank you for all the wonderful gems that you've dropped and shared with us. I don't know, maybe later on you could come back and you could share and give us an update of all the wonderful things that you're continuing to do because all I see is continued greatness. When I met you, you were like a light that I thought the world need to see, and I wanted to help you to share your story. So that's why I invited you here. And again, I wanted to thank you for being on the Dr. Lydia show. Okay?
I appreciate you having me on. I appreciate you giving me the opportunity to share this. This is something that I do every
Right.
day, one on one. I've been to churches. People invite me to talk, to tell my story. There's so
Right.
much to the story that I wasn't able to
Absolutely.
share. But
Right.
what I will leave everybody with is
Mhm.
this. It's simple. If you are disciplined,
Mhm.
and if you're obedient to that discipline, if you
Yes.
remain consistent, you'll get
Yes.
results. It might not be the
Absolutely.
result you desire at that time, but if you repeat the process,
Over and
guess
over
what?
again. Yes. You'll
You'll
get
do
the
what I
result.
have done. I'm coming from hiding from the rent man to being a
Mhm.
rent man myself.
Yes.
But the thing is, there's a lot of learning in there. And
Mhm.
trust me, there's been a lot of trials,
Right.
failures, but
Right.
growth. And
Right.
I'm telling you, read, educate yourself, get the knowledge, talk to people. Don't be afraid to share and
Right.
listen as much as you can.
Absolutely.
I watch your show and I'm just excited about what you're doing. We talked about
This
this
is
and
yes. Thank you.
I couldn't believe the first show had like 300,000 hits. I'm like, whoa! But it just says that your desire to
Mm.
change the world, but start with your
Absolutely.
community, change the people around you.
Absolutely.
And
Yes.
you're going to continue to be blessed. I look forward.
Thank
If you
you.
ever want me back on, I'll speak specifically to something that you request. I know this
Thank
was
you.
just general sharing,
Yes.
but I
Yes.
love what you're doing. I
Thank
think,
you.
you know, what I see different with you and what other people are doing,
Hmm.
you're being transparent. You're
Yes.
sharing your story. You're sharing
Yes.
people that have
Hmm.
a story. Because everybody believes you have to come from some wealth. I'm a
Right.
kid
It's
from the
true.
ghetto without
Yes.
anything. All I
Hmm.
had was a good education. I didn't
Hmm.
start out with no trust fund. I didn't start.
Hmm.
Hey, I started at $2.05 an hour at Burger King, and I'm not gonna
Yep.
lie. I
Yes.
moved from Burger
Yes.
King to McDonald's at two
Hmm.
fifteen an hour because I thought I
Right.
was upgraded. My friends
Right.
were laughing. I'm not working at
Right.
no McDonald's for $2. I said, I'll do it because I'm not selling drugs like you are. I'm not
Absolutely.
standing on the street corner. I'm not doing any of
Hmm.
those. But look
Hmm.
at me now. Look at me
Absolutely.
now. You know,
Absolutely.
and it's not a
Absolutely.
bragging statement. It's the
Hmm.
I've run the race
Right.
and I'm going to continue to run the race.
Yes.
But
Hmm.
the struggle has passed.
Yes.
And, I'm not sitting down and say, well, because I am not where I want to be. but I'm
Right.
way far along on the journey.
Absolutely.
Far, far
Absolutely.
along on the journey. Yeah, I'm not where I
Yeah.
want to be. Oh,
Yeah.
I would love to have $1 million a day coming in so I can change the world. That's my goal.
Absolutely.
I want to change the world so bad. I played the
Hmm.
lottery because I'm like, I don't have enough to do what I want to do. But I probably do have enough. But I want
Right.
to do low income housing. I want to give people housing. I want to do all of these things. I have all of this
Yeah.
desire, but I
Right.
don't have enough to do that. But I have enough
Right.
to make a difference, and
Difference.
I've made
Yeah.
a difference in people.
Hmm.
You know what? I'm gonna leave you with this.
Yeah.
Even when I was a computer engineer, I would
Hmm.
share my knowledge. There's at least two people
Hmm.
that I know are out there doing very well, made more
Right.
money than I ever did at
Hmm.
computers, that
Right.
did not major in computers or knew anything about computers. But I
Right.
took them and said, hey, you're bigger than this, you're better than this. Let me educate you.
Yes.
And
Yes.
believe it or not, one of my friends, a Jewish guy, he lives in
Hmm.
Tennessee. I'm not going to call his name, but
Hmm.
he's the chief programmer for
Hmm.
for Nissan motor cars. So any one of you out there driving a Nissan, you've touched it because his programming is
Wow.
in that Nissan.
Yes.
And I gave him his start. I
Wow.
took him, and you know what? I went and
Hmm.
visited him a few years ago, and he's living quite well. And he
Hmm.
said to my kids, "You see all of this that I have? I owe it to your father."
Wow.
I shed tears because you know what? Acknowledgement that it works. So what I'm sharing with
Absolutely.
people is
Yes.
something that works. What you're
Yes.
doing is a blessing,
Absolutely.
but they need to
Absolutely.
see that.
See. Right.
Don't just see you as a pretty face that has
Right.
been doing something. See what
Yeah.
you're talking about, and that if they
Absolutely.
follow the process, they
Hmm.
can achieve. We can
Yeah.
all overcome one day at a
Right.
time, one step at
Yeah.
a time. I thank you.
All right, thank you so much. And again, Mr. Carr, thank you so much for being a part of this show. I'm Dr. Lydia, and I'll see you next time. Before you go, remember to like, share, comment, and if you'd like to be a guest or want to share your story here, please send me an email or something like that. I'd love to hear from you. Again, I'm Dr. Lydia. I'll see you next time. Thank you.